That is a Twister-style WB logo. Even the title card itself isn't safe. Now that is a lens flare. Eat your heart out, JJ. Man, what an opening scene. This scene absolutely terrified me as a kid in theaters, and as an adult, I realized that was entirely the intent. It's not a scene designed to scare adults, just kids. The tornado growls at them, and I'm not saying that tornadoes don't make this low rumble noise, but come on. It's specifically an evil monster in this movie, and it's epic. And it perfectly sets up Jo's trauma since she was a kid when it happened. The only part that's always killed me was that both Jo and her mom are fine just 3 feet away, even with the door gone. If only someone had just told the dad. A perfect 90s transition. It's hard to imagine unless you were there, but this was mind-blowing for us back then. Heck, the automobile had only been invented like 5 years earlier.
A record outbreak of tornadoes.
This is gonna be a long day.
Well, there you have it. It is gonna be a long day. I'm sorry, are we headed to go chase tornadoes, or are we about to follow some talking dogs on a cross-country adventure? Either way, the score is pulling me in. Melissa becomes the butt of the joke going forward, but she's still allowed to be likable, just a little out of her element. You can never go wrong with Tori Amos.
This thing is useless.
Jo's first word is the F word, really getting that PG-13 F-bomb out of the way.
The extreme! It's the extreme!
It is hard to beat Sandy Lyle. The man invented a new word. But Dusty is in the top 5 Philip Seymour Hoffman characters. He's got an energy.
Explain to Melissa why you are the way you are.
That's not something you can you do that? I can't do that. I think my favorite part of the writing is that they dodge the cliche of having them really despise each other to ultimately still get back together. It's clear from the start that Jo still wants the Pax back. She remembers she's still got her ring on, even in the way she says hello.
Hey, Bill. Bill just told me the happy news.
Us, marriage.
Probably seems kind of sudden. Seems sudden?
That is the meanest thing anyone does in the entire movie. And people die.
I thought you'd be coming out here alone.
You said you'd meet
It's
me
about Dorothy.
Dorothy? What about her?
She's here.
That brief moment where you think they have a kid together and then you find out that it's actually even more intense. Proprietary tech. Dusty just casually holding Melissa's hand in the background. What a sweetie he is. Also, Judy Garland on the side of Dorothy is pretty fantastic.
Wouldn't be right if you weren't here.
No, you had a crush on Helen Hunt.
Right now, it's 3 minutes, and we can increase warning time to 15 minutes.
That's bananas. And there are a ton of variables on the length of warning people receive, and it's gotten better. We're closer to 10 to 20 minutes now from what I can gather. But jumping from 3 to 15 is a 5x increase.
The NSSL says the cap is breaking. Tower's going up 30 miles off the dry line.
Might as well be Star Trek technobabble. Actually, might be. Meteorology is like astrology, right? Mostly just woo-woo silliness.
Fatty time!
Are you sure you don't want to go along?
Go with him, you mean?
Well, yeah.
See, she's wicked supportive.
We do better than the 30?
No!
This is the one part I'm hoping to see translated in the remake, or update.
Jonas Miller, he's a night crawler.
He probably just means like an insect, but it accidentally sounds like he thinks he's a cool guy. Already crossed the line. Can't wait till they die. What? It was the 90s. It was a different time. There's definitely backstory written about him kicking puppies and stuff.
This was essentially a false alarm.
In case you were wondering why everyone just raced to hang out at the diner.
She holds hundreds of these little sensors.
I'm no tornado chaser expert, but I love that even to lay people like us, square sensors seem idiotic. It's like the "we have Dorothy at home" meme.
Study.
God, that's an amazing confrontation tactic. Knocks his hat off and grabs his lapels. No punching, barely a shove. Just pure embarrassment. Humiliated. I'd hide underground for the rest of my life.
What's your malfunction, man?
No, the line is,
What's your malfunction, Rico?
and is that a young tyke of a Paul Stamets back there next to Ace?
The days of sniffing the dirt are over. Better than what you sniff.
Zing! Was that Cameron? I think it was Cameron. Also, just a side note, it never ceases to make me laugh that Carrie Elwes is most popular for Wesley in Princess Bride, but at some point someone realized this is more the character he was born to play.
Why don't you go get us some cold drinks?
Okay, sweetheart.
Poor sweet Melissa is the only true victim in all of this.
That man is waiting for Billy. Why?
Cause Billy's the GD Tornado Whisperer, lady.
If you have to pee, you should do it now, because there's not very many places to stop once we get on the road.
That's a nice piece of advice, and yet, perfect congenial condescension like that is a gift. It's both infantilizing and patronizing.
You're still in love with him, aren't you?
Candor, gotta respect her just putting it out there.
We're together.
And something about Jo picking up the check, even though it's probably just for the write-off, is such a sly way of saying, oh, I already won, sweetie.
Going green. Greenwich.
And not one Gen Xer or millennial would ever forget it. There've been like 3 tornadoes within 100 miles of me throughout my entire life, but I've seen hundreds of green skies that sent me running for cover.
Follow us in the truck.
Just a straight up unforgivable move here. It's great for the heroes, so win, but garbage, bruh.
Where the wind comes
sweeping down the plain.
It takes all different kinds of music to get us there.
She did not marry your penis.
This is even funnier because we don't know that she's a reproductive therapist yet.
What could I
that.
possibly need a therapist for?
I kinda love how the 90s absolutely hated therapy. Oh, and the answer is so much. Your chosen career path leads to death and the stress level is through the roof, so this?
Can I drive?
No!
Then would you?
Also, Jo has nerves of steel, which checks out considering her line of work. Nah. Well, that's just straight Halo music.
Go in there, wait. You're gonna miss it!
Hold on.
Have you lost your nerve?
Tighten your seatbelt.
I like that it comes off like Jo is goading Bill, which she is a bit, but as we find out later, it's also that he was the crazy one before, so she's genuinely confused. Not immediately quitting this job and driving in the opposite direction after witnessing a barn being shredded is insane, even for 1996. But Jo is undisturbed. Keeping up the conversation during this is amazing.
Are you mad?
I bet looking back at being under the bridge, they won't ever want to feel like they did that day. At least it's a place they love. And our first hint that Jo is maybe more than just a tornado hunter. She says she wants to see it, but is that all that's going on?
Where's my truck?
Epic and classic. Both the question and answer, as well as that sweet 1982 Jeep J10. There's only one real problem with the movie, and it's that this masterpiece of a vehicle is replaced with, yeah. Also, I love the tractor there because we all noticed it on the bridge, and if it's there,
You just said truck. That's awesome.
it's amazing how powerful the power of suggestion is, and Dusty is being a total bro here, but I think he's also trying to make her feel okay.
What was it like?
It was windy.
That's intense.
He's like a little kid asking Grandpa about the war. Philip Seymour Hoffman was a national treasure.
It's a very pretty truck.
Don't even think about it. No way.
I'm definitely not an eye for an eye guy, and Bill, you did just wreck her truck after insisting you should drive. Unfortunately, this is an eye for burnt hair. At least the cap is on the side of the road. Actually, the Jeep was like an entire head and an entire upper body. I'm really not over it. This is such a sly Arrested Development. Buster was there the whole time bit, but even more subtle because it's another cut before you remember Melissa is in the back. I need the Widow Waddo TOD Poe guy to make fun of these nerds and their matching tailgate line.
Dr. Miller, we're getting southeast gusts at 40 miles per hour.
You would barely know it was Ace if he didn't open that toothy mouth and let Jake Busey words out.
Look at the updraft. The angle. It's gonna shift its track.
See, who needs meteorology and science when you've got Bill Paxton? It's vibes, man. It's all about the vibes.
You're not gonna have this baby the old-fashioned way.
She's a reproductive therapist.
She's a consummate professional is what she is. Getting dragged across Oklahoma, chasing NATOs, fending off JoJo Smarty Pants, and she's still making time for her patients.
We're in the core.
The Core is a great film. Should I do The Core? Also, I don't know what that means specifically for a weather system, but I know I should be scared, and so I am.
Cow.
I like that it doesn't actually matter what's going on with a cow outside of your moving vehicle. The reaction is the same. You just say, cow. So much therapy needed. I'm not sure what the recommended daily value of near-death experiences is, but we're already on number 2. Subtle, guys, real subtle.
No, I'm not okay. This is not okay.
She's right.
You used to tell me that you chase tornadoes. Deep down, I always just thought it was a metaphor.
Two things can be true. Joe's a real, never mind. Tornado.
You haven't seen any of my new work?
Like the 3 precogs I stole? Is that how that went? It's been a while. Should I do Minority Report? Love that movie. Also, her wind chimes are stellar and make me want to make stuff.
In a severe lightning storm, you want to grab your ankles and stick your butt in the air.
I wouldn't be surprised if Logan told Connor that just to mess with him because I'm not finding too much to corroborate that.
Where'd you get all this beef?
Did you see my cows out front?
No.
Oh.
I think this movie just hates cows.
What a wiener.
Bring that insult back. We aren't calling enough people wieners. That's what's wrong with the youth of today. Too few wieners.
He's gonna rue the day he came up against the extreme.
Talking imminent ruinage.
Speaking of which, imminent ruinage is definitely getting added to the daily vernacular.
The Fujita scale, it measures the intensity of a tornado by how much it eats.
I've seen this movie 1,000 times and I always forget how practical the scaling system is.
Is there an F5?
Finger of God.
It takes talent as filmmakers to have us spend less than an hour with a bunch of experts in various fields that we know little to nothing about, which is generally preferable since pre-knowledge about tornadoes probably makes these people sound like goobers, and have us fully believing their ridiculous intensity.
He didn't keep his part of the bargain.
Which part?
To spend his life pining for you and die miserable and alone.
Is she crying over Bill, or is she crying because Lisa Loeb is serenading us in the background? Pavlov's gun, Chekhov's dog.
You know any shortcuts, let us know. We need every second.
And in the vein of making us believe it, they also create this intense urgency around directions and driving.
We're gonna take a walk in the woods.
Gotta love that Van Halen kicks in the second they hit the dirt road.
Excuse me.
Look, mature adults can work with their exes and not make it all hot and sexual tension-y. So I guess what I'm saying is, thank God these two are not mature adults. Ha, got him back. So, what do we think the naked cornwalker guy's deal is? Just getting some corn?
It's gonna show its ugly face right over that hill.
I think I'd be good at vibe meteorology too. Viberology. That sky looks bad. Probably bad weather up there. Nailed it.
This is the fun part, sweetheart.
Philip Seymour Hoffman never lets up on the stoner golden retriever energy, and really everyone keeps it at 11 the entire movie. The last 5 minutes were just Bill and Joe stressed the heck out trying to get directions and find the torno. Take it back, I quit Viberology.
That's no moon! It's a space station!
Happily screaming a classic line of dread from Star Wars really encapsulates the entire vibe of this group.
Melissa, look at this! Take a peek!
No, I
You
don't
can
want
really
to.
feel it with a telephoto lens!
No!
Dusty really does try to bring her in.
What's wrong?
You people are all crazy. You know that!
What?
I think he really just didn't hear her, but I like to also believe that if he did, he just doesn't comprehend because he's that crazy. See what I mean? No one says boat, it's just not the same.
We gotta get closer, a little closer! All right, that's close enough.
It's not an action movie if you don't quip during high-stakes scenarios, and everyone knows that tricycles are a sign from God. One thing that's always elevating the tension is how unprepared they are. And I think it probably speaks to the unpredictability of whatever specific weather they're going to encounter and when, but hail hurts, man, get gloves. You probably don't expect multiple explosions in the Wind movie, but we're not ones to look a gift explosion in the fire. Look, it's sad that Dorothy 2 is gone, but you got a tricycle out of it. To be fair, you clearly have a happy future with Dusty if you just reach out and grab it. Also, Jamie Gert's killing it with the face acting. Can't beat a gorgeous sunset driving shot for elevating the vibes, and you know they were stoked when they got it. This was many young kids' first introduction to The Shining, and many of them wouldn't muster up the courage to actually watch the full movie until their mid to late 30s. And now Alison Krauss, it's like Joe gets followed around by the saddest 90s ladies. How does one apply for that treatment? It's like they have a spidey sense for tornadoes. A tornado sense. Nah, that sucks. Spidato sense, that's it, nailed it.
It's headed right for us! It's already here!
A classic trailer moment, and we get a solid idea of how short 3 minutes can be.
Go! Go!
Trauma, man, trauma. It really couldn't have picked a better scene to destroy the screen on. Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall.
Come on, take my hand! No, I can't. Take my hand! The window.
Aw, Upham probably didn't deserve it, but Joe's constantly proven she's the real hero of the story. He's very lucky he's not in a Final Destination movie.
It's okay, it's okay!
Again, she's right. We just don't disaster like we disastered in the 90s. No notes. Just occurring to me that Joe grew up here after the F5 destroyed her house, and Aunt Meg just so happened to get really into wind chimes. Thing that lets you know when the weather is starting to get bad. Sweet Aunt Meg.
The funny thing is, I'm not that upset. What does that mean?
It means the writers are trying to make us feel okay about it, but also that Bill's really not right for you, and I think you've seen that laid bare in the last, 10 hours.
What about you?
Oh, don't worry about me. I know my way home.
Honestly, some of the best acting of the film right there. The lip bite and glassy eyes and then turning so he doesn't see her cry. We almost forget we're watching a movie about spaghettios.
They had no warning.
So there's a lot of, adrenaline junkie energy from this group, but then we're given this moment to be reminded why they're truly doing it, and it seems slightly less reckless. We don't deserve them. That TV is probably the most dangerous thing in the entire movie. Those old CRTs were weighted so that one half was light as a feather and the other half was, at minimum, 40,000 pounds. Feel free to check my math. Bill gets a few points for this. Still, we don't deserve the fluffers.
I mean, I don't even know if you want to know, but it's happening. NSSL's predicting an F5.
Oh, that's him. That's the one that got your dad. You gotta go after it. He might still be in there. Bet you never considered that, did you, dear viewer?
I know how to make Dorothy fly.
Look, I love that they worked a big House MD reveal into this disaster movie, but wings? You guys didn't think about wings to make stuff fly? JK, nades are scary. The second I saw that barn go up, I'd have been hugging my knees and humming Casual by Chappell Roan in an attempt to dissociate. Emotional support dog for the wounded guy. I love that they're all bleeding with band-aids on their fingies, because you can't touch that many cut-up cans and get away unscathed. It's an inevitability, especially while driving. What? No.
This is it.
It's gonna work.
It is not. Why would you say that? I mean, where is F5 getting all these trees? Seems pretty fishy to me. Hello there. Look, I stand by the TV still being the most dangerous thing in the movie, but everything about this set piece is just absolutely perfect and stellar. The clear tension and fear coming from the unshakable duo because, yeah, fuel trucks aren't the everyday occurrence that so much other danger is to them. And the explosion is still epic. Everything about all of it.
Jonas, listen to me. The pack is too light. The twister will toss it before it reaches the core. You have to anchor it.
And just in case there was any question if Jo was really in it for the greater good, she answers succinctly. But also, this is a big deal. This stuff ain't cheap and they've lost a lot already today. So sacrificing the credit when it might mean the end of all their careers is genuinely impressive and selfless.
Maybe we should do what he says. He'd never put us in harm's way. When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you.
It's truly one of the greatest cheeseball baddie lines you can use to hit maximum unlikability without risking crossing over into cool territory. I feel bad for the driver, though. I mean, yeah, real bad. He was in a Final Destination movie. The 90s did not mess. Slightly rude to our protagonists, right to death. But that's not the right expression, dude. Oh, is that Jonas flying out? Looks like one of those little green slow down for kids signs. Movies used to do stuff, man. When someone would ask you about Twister, you'd say, it's just nonstop balls to the wall action. And they'd be like, oh, cool. And you'd have to clarify, no, you don't understand. It's nonstop, balls to the wall action. I never get tired of these geography/scale shots. Full racing speed through a cornfield and then tilt up to the beast. This might be the most unrealistic part of the movie, because opening a door at 10 miles per hour is not the easiest task, don't ask me how I know. Now add in cornstalks slamming into the door at whatever speed they're traveling, and it's gonna be darn near impossible. But also, they seem to be actually doing it, so what do I know? Have fun getting sliced up by corn leaves, I guess. The twinkly sounds the sensors make really sell this moment. We just don't get scores like this anymore for disaster movies. Again, guys, I'm not a vibrometeorologist, but it's a funnel. Who could have guessed that configuration? And again, more pressing things, but ooh, running through a cornfield, shucks. You'd be amazed how sharp they are. Gonna leave them husks of themselves. Horse. I love it so much.
Oh my God, who are these people?
I don't think so.
And see, Jo's a real smart lady, but not an expert in everything. So when she sees the Grim Reaper's scythe, she forgets that they're also used to cut hay. Still not a great place to hide. Non-stop. It never lets up. And at this point, I have to give it up to Helen and Bill, because they were around my age and they're still going for it. It's one of those moments where you have no choice to say no, but no thank you. It just doesn't get any cooler than this scene. It's such a perfect mix of pure terror and pure wish fulfillment for them. What is happening? The music and their feet dangling, and is her dad about to show up in the tornado and say something like, being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble. Now kill this mother flippin' F5, avenge me! But it also perfectly satisfies that need Jo has been trying to fill the entire movie. I like to think she realizes it wasn't personal, you know, since it let her live this time.
You're doing the analysis. I'm running the lab.
You're running the lab? I don't think so.
Truly a perfect ending for these two, already arguing again.
Do you always have to do things the hard way?
Ha! It's a bright and sunny day and you chose to make out under the exploded water pipe. Yes, you both do. This is one thing I wish modern movies would bring back. The movie ends, but everyone's still in the shot, so the actors have to improv hanging out without any lines. And Jo and Bill are just making out the whole time. Incredible. How did this not win all the best pictures? Well, this movie was so fun, and Michael Crichton wrote this? Dang, that guy really shaped my childhood. Also, this final shot of the Path of Destruction is something else. Can I give Twister a fair and objective rating based on its merits? Performances, writing, visual effects, Bill Paxtoniness, and quality of white tank top worn by Helen Hunt. Wait, is that like her Tom Cruise running / Tom Hanks peeing thing? That her shirt will get soaked at some point? This movie, the end of Castaway, and I'm just remembering that scene in As Good As It Gets. Is 3 times enough to be her thing? I mean, you trying to tell me she was never in the rain and mad about you? Okay, this is not. Anyway, the answer is no, not about the shirt, about my objective rating. I can't see through the funnel-colored glasses, and I won't apologize for it because Twister is pure, uncut Colombo, Oklahoman 90s action. For that reason, I think it's an odd movie to update by adding an S, but do you see me complaining? Not a chance. Should they also update the love story? I'm actually curious where they're gonna go with that, because Twister didn't have the most unique story of all time, but it does subvert some of the expectations about 90s rom-coms. Still not unpredictable, but it's also not roll your eyes sappy. Honestly, having their final moments be an argument before the kiss is pitch perfect. We humans are messy. I think you know what you're getting with Twister, and chances are you're gonna love it. So let me know if you already saw Twisters and if I should go see it in theaters. Disaster movies are usually really fun with a crowd and surround sound anyway. So I'm looking forward to it. Next week, a more recent one, though it might be 2 weeks. But if you're looking for more stuff from me in the meantime, I have 3 reactions to my older videos up on Nebula for Deadpool, Godzilla, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. They all ended up being reactions as much as retrospectives on my channel and behind the scenes type stuff, so use my link and check it out.